Hello and welcome to Crochet Moments. This is episode 61 and it has been 34 days since my last confession. I'm Helen, I'm a yarnaholic from Leicester. I live here with my husband and my two daughters, and I've had a busy month, which is why I've just not had time to get in front of my camera, well, Simon's camera, and get an episode filmed. So I have a lot to talk about. I've got some finished objects, I've got lots of whips that I've been working on, and a little bit of incoming, and I'm limited on time because in less than an hour I need to be on my way out the front door to go pick Catherine up, who's been at guide camp overnight. So if I do whiz through anything, I do apologise. All of the links for any of the patterns that I talk about, where I can find them, are all linked below in the description box, as is links to any shops that I mention, and there will be a couple of shops that I mentioned. So yeah, let's get going. Let's go straight into finished objects. I have not one, not two, not three, but 4 finished objects for April. I'm so excited. So I'm going to talk about the finished object I don't have with me, and that is an Easter egg. So my work decided that it would be a good idea to have an Easter egg competition. Now, me being the craftiest person out of all of us, they volunteered me to do that. So I crocheted an egg and stuck some bits on it. It's not the most brilliant. We didn't win the competition, but I did manage to contribute. So also I finished a hat. I was working on this, oh gosh, oh that's better, my head was getting hot, in my lunch breaks at work. This is the Snow Day hat, and it is a free pattern that I found on Ravelry, and the name of the designer is Jerry Birch. This is using chunky yarn. This was a less than half of a ball left over from my cardigan that I practically live in on the chillier days. But yes, so this has been great, just to put over my head when I'm outside if it's a bit wet, because I have new hearing aids and these ones are not NHS, so I do not want them to get wet and get ruined because it will cost money to replace. I used magic loop for the first time when I got to the decreases. There's the decreases there. That was because I didn't have any DPNs in the right size. I prefer DPNs. I eventually got the hang of magic loop, but it's definitely not going to be my preferred method for knitting on the smaller circumferences. I'm still more comfortable using the DPNs. So that's my second finished object. So the next finished object is this. I finished my Metamorphosis. Let me turn around so you can see the back. So I don't know how much of the back you can see, because obviously I've got my back to you. So it's this beautiful wrap that I made from, oh, I've taken the book upstairs I think, from one of the Sheepy's yarn bookazines. This, so I can't remember the name of the designer. It is a beautiful wrap, and this is my preferred way of wearing it. So it's a wrap with armholes, so you sort of wear it like a cardigan really. So you can wear it just open with the fronts hanging down. Oh gosh, where's that gone? You could wrap them around there like that. You can wear it as just a shawl, as a scarf. I'm getting a bit tangled up. So you can sort of, I don't, because it just looks a bit weird. Now I've had the because I've been wearing it, obviously the armholes have been stretched a little. Oh gosh, now I'm in a proper tangle. And you can wear this with this at the front with your arms on, so it's just so versatile. But like I said, I prefer wearing it just as a wrapped cardigan, because that's what I find suits me best. And then I can just wrap it round. And I did not block the wings properly. In fact, I didn't block the wings at all, because I finished this just in time to take on holiday with me, to wear on holiday. So I did wear it quite a bit while we were away. So it has been washed a couple of times. The silk has held up in the machine, which I was worried about, but we do put all of my hand knits on a wool wash with wool wash. So yes, it's all, oh gosh, I've just, my hairband's come undone at the back. That's why it was looking a little bit strange in the screen. Right, okay, now for the most exciting finished object of them all. Ta-da! I finished my faith blanket. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have got up and moved. I finished it. Here it is. All its really fabulous glory. I love it so much. Apart from when I laid it out to take a picture, this is supposed to be a square blanket. It's not square. It's not square. So one of the sides, I can't remember which one, has got 8 more of these than should be. So somewhere in the whole of the pattern I've managed to gain a heck of a lot of stitches, and I did not notice until I was somewhere around here, and I lay it out flat to just look at it and take a progress picture, and it was like, oh, what's happening there? And I just did not have it in me to rip back that much. I mean, I'm here, and these rows from about here were taking at least an hour to finish one row. So even the very simple rows at the end were taking an hour and a half to do. So I just did not at all like it. So apologies if you do hear any background noise. I'm recording on a Saturday morning as opposed to a Friday evening, and Emily is in the kitchen with Daddy getting ready to go out and feed the birds. We've got a lovely bird feeder, and Simon likes taking pictures of the songbirds. I did change the last row. It was supposed to be back post single crochets, but I just stuck with just normal single crochets just because I don't know, by that point I just wanted it finished, and the back post stitches would have taken even longer. So yeah, I really love it. I've loved working with the yarn. I've got quite a bit of it left wherever it's gone. It's got buried. It's got buried in my pile of whips. I've got quite a bit of it left, so I'm not quite sure what to do with it, with the leftover yarns. I've got none of the white. I've got a whole ball of one of the greys, and I can't remember which one. I've got about half a ball of the purple, half a ball of the blush pink. So I do have enough left over to do something. I just don't know what. So watch this space. Oh, so that's that finished object. So that's all my finished objects. Very quickly. Okay, so let's go with this whip because it's right next to me. Sorry, I'm on my whips now. this is my 2021 Advent, which I keep in this beautiful box that I bought at Aldi for about £1.50. So in here is my Advent that I got from Yarn for the Soul. The Advent I bought in 2022 was Rosie's Moments, and that was just a 12 mini skein Advent, and I've already finished that project, but I still have all of this left. The intent, so this is the Painting Honeycombs pattern by Stephen West, and I'm intending to just keep going until either I run out of my grey, of which I have 2 skeins, or I start to run out of a mini. I'm going to just keep going, and I'm just going through the colours backwards and forwards. So this is how much I've got done so far. So I've only worked on this how many days was I working on this? Only 2 or 3 days I think this one came up to work. Oh, I'm going to lose stitches if I'm not careful. It's getting to that size now where it's too big for the cable. So I put a stitch marker in, my Cheshire Cat stitch marker that I got with my Cheshire Cat yarn, with my Alice in Wonderland subscription with Attic Spin Die. So I managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4 stripes of colour in. I've got, I think I'm about to add in another colour. So I'm hoping that as I go, I should only have 1, maybe 2 more stripes of each colour left to do. Preferably just 1 more. Maybe I'll just do 1 more, because this is getting huge. This is definitely going to be a bit of a schlanket for me. It's going to be lovely and warm to snuggle up in on the sofa while I'm doing some knitting, watching TV. So I just thought I had a problem with I thought I'd got a stain on my yarn then, and it's just, I think just a little bit of orange. Must have got in the dye bath for the grey. Just that teeny tiny speck of orange. Right, so that is this. So yes, it's all fingering weight sock yarn in this beautiful rainbow. I mean, there's the extent of the colours there. So it goes from this lovely coral orange up to this one here, and it's just going to go through. So I've gone through it, back through, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to go before I start coming back the other way. So really looking forward to getting this one off my needle. If I'm honest, it's rather big, and but it's very easy. I have been weaving my ends in as I go. I just haven't been snipping them. At the start I was doing weaving Stephen, which is a method that Stephen West uses. As I've got further up, I have started using another method where I'm actually knitting it in the ends, so it's just goes a bit, it's apparently a little bit more secure than just using the weaving Stephen. So let's pop that back in the box. Yes, so the grey yarn that I'm using is from Attic Spin Die. It's just a standard grey, and it's called Mist. And it's, oh, I love Andy's yarn. I buy so much of it. I have so much of it. I need to start using more of it. It's lovely yarn to knit with, and the colours are all amazing. I still have a lot of the bits and pieces that were in my Advent in here as well. I've got a couple of MKAL sachets. I've got a little Emma Ball tin, Notions tin. And there's a couple of buttons and a couple of stitch markers in there as well. So, yes, so I am starting to think about Advent calendar for 2023. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to go for it, but it's most likely going to be another Roses Moments. I really did enjoy Roses Moments. It came with the pattern, it came with everything that, you know, all these little extras were lovely. So I think I definitely will be looking at them again. So my next whip that I'm going to show, let's show another knit whip. I'm just going to work through the pile as I get to it. It is a sizable pile. So in this bag I have my Mystery Knit Along by Expression Fibre Arts, and I'm really enjoying this. This is mosaic knitting. So I've almost finished part 3. Part 4 I've written the pattern out, ready to go. I haven't been through my stash to choose a yarn yet. I'm hoping that I have a yarn that is suitable. So the colour, I'm trying to stick as close to the colours as they have that they're releasing. And so my first colour, so the first colour was quite a dark blue, so I went with this. This is Silent Night from West Yorkshire Spinners. It's a signature 4-ply. And the second yarn that I'm using, my second colour, is this one, which is really lovely. I really love this colour. And this is by Dinah's Home of Crafts, and it is called Last Petal. I keep forgetting the name of this one, I don't know why. But I really like the colours. So it was just basically it needed something with a hint of pink to it. It was cream. Actually no, it didn't need a hint of pink. It was just a solid cream, and this is the closest I had to a solid cream. So basically the whole point of this project is to stash dive for each colour. I want to avoid buying yarn for this pattern as much as I can. Just give you a bit of a sneak peek. This is a Roses Moments yarn. I got it in a mystery bag that I bought. She does fantastic mystery bags at yarn shows. I think you pay about £10–15 for the bag, and you get at least one full skein and loads of little extras, stitch markers. I think the one that had this in, they had a couple of minis in there. There was a mug, a Christmas mug, because it was not long before Christmas that we went. This is Stormy Sunset, this one, Roses Moments Stormy Sunset. So, a slightly different yarn makeup than the other ones. This one's an 85. No, that must be a typo. You can't have 85% merino and 25% nylon. That's more than 100%. So perhaps that's why it got into the mystery bag. It was mislabelled. Okay, so let's show you. This is where I am. So I think since you last saw this, because I think I was just down here sort of, so I've done a whole other stripe. I've got one more blue stripe to put in, which is about 14–15 rows, and then I will be on the next part, which is a slightly different pattern. It's I think it's more of a vertical pattern than a horizontal pattern, but it's always hard to predict what it's going to come out at when you're working on it. So obviously it started off with I don't know if you call this seed stitch or moss stitch. Then this was just a knit one, slip one mosaic, and now we're getting into the proper patterns. Oh, I'm really croaky this morning. And this is living in my sloth bag, which I got from Whisk. And I do have a discount code for this. It's also listed in the box below. Right, okay, so out and about socks. So we went on holiday to Yorkshire for a week last week and obviously took my socks with me. I didn't get as much done as I thought I would. The weather wasn't conducive to knitting as I walked, and most of the journeys that we did were not necessarily long enough to get much done. I did get some done though. So I've turned the heel and started the main part of the foot. These are just a pair of vanilla socks, and I'm making them for Emily, which is why they're so diddy, because Emily is almost 7. She's 7 in a couple of weeks. I've got my stitch markers here. It's marking my rows so that I know how many rows to do on the next sock. I am using Higher Flyers in a 2.25mm, and the yarn, oh there's some money in here. I've got money. Oh, I'm rich. Oh, I've got 40 pence. Wow, where did that come from? I feel really rich now. Anyway, Higher Flyers. I'm not enjoying working with these, if I'm honest, and they cost £15, so it's a little disappointing. I need to make myself like them, because at £15 for a set of needles, I need to make sure I use them to justify the cost. Any tips that anyone might have for using them? I don't know if it's because I'm so used to using DPNs, and this is more like your knitting magic loop. I don't know, that could be why. The yarn I'm using is Vintage Tinsel by West Yorkshire Spinners. This is one of the Christmas yarns that they did. I can't remember which year this was for now. Might have been 2021. Because 2022 was the gingerbread one. Yes, 2021. 2020 was the Silent Night, which obviously I've already shown you. I do quite like the sparkly yarn from West Yorkshire Spinners because you can't feel the sparkle. Some of the sparkly yarns that you can buy, you can feel the sparkle. It's a little rough against your feet. So, but this, you can't really feel it. So that's living in my Bellica Yarns bag, which is probably starting to get a little bit, it could do with a wash, let's put it that way, because it does sit for quite a lot just on my wrist while I'm knitting, as I'm standing around waiting or walking somewhere. Okay, so I do have a couple of new starts to show you as well. I can't believe I found money. Let's move that over there so I'm not constantly knocking it. So on my works in progress wheel, my ripple socks came up as a project to work on, and unfortunately before I'd put them down, quite a long time ago, it's been a while since I worked on them, I'd made a mistake and I could not work out how to correct it, so I had to rip them back, which was very, very sad and upsetting. But I'm still using the same yarn. I'm reusing the yarn. So I've cast on a different pair of socks. So before I go in there, I'm just going to pause the video, grab a drink, because I'm really fruity. That's better. I should have said right at the start, I finally got my promotion yesterday. So the reason I'm a bit croaky is because a little alcohol may have been drunk, and I'm very dry the morning after. So we drank Prosecco, so I had a couple of glasses of Prosecco at work to celebrate, and then Simon bought a bottle of Prosecco for us to celebrate at home. So this is a Rosie's Moments yarn again. Seems to be a Rosie's Moments episode today. I don't think I still have the colourway name for it. This was the giftable. So it all comes already balled up like this, and I think I've got most, if not all, the gifts out of it. I do have another one of these upstairs, and when I knit with it, I'm going to try and be good and try not to pick things out, because I would just squish the ball and oh, there's something there, and try and dig it out. So I'm going to be a little bit more restrained. I wish I could remember the colour name of this one, because I love the colour. That's why I had to just cast on the next pair of socks with the same yarn. Now this pattern is from the sock drawer book, which did I buy this or did Simon? No, I bought the yarn. Simon bought me this for my birthday when we went to, oh, I can't remember the name of the yarn studio. Peak District Yarns, that's the one. So for my birthday, we went for a hike at, I don't know if it's Eam or Eam or Iam. A lovely pub lunch, and then a trip to Peak District Yarns studio. And this is one of the pattern books that they had on display. So the book is by Verity Castledine, and I am working on the Francis socks. So let's just, whoops, that's just a bit of paper with the errata in. So these are the socks that I'm working on, and I'm not very far on them at all. I have a habit of doing that, dropping DPNs. So these are on my 2.25 Knit Pro Zing DPNs, and here is my progress. I absolutely love how this yarn knits up. It's absolutely gorgeous. So the colours coming out pretty true to life there. So yeah, let's pick that DPN up. I need to sort out a DPN koozie for that bag. I do have a couple somewhere. So I'm really enjoying those socks and can't wait for them to come back up. This is a Knit Me Sane bag. Unfortunately, Knit Me Sane is no longer selling yarn or bags. So it came as part of I think her Christmas, no, I bought it in her Christmas sale, her New Year sale, just after Christmas, a little while ago now. But I love this bag. I need to buy a couple more bags. Most of my projects are sat in canvas totes, and they're nice canvas totes, don't get me wrong. Right, so let's go with one of my new starts. This is living in my York Chocolate Story tote. This is one of the places we visited while we were on holiday, and it was a fantastic place to visit. I would highly recommend that you pay a visit. It wasn't cheap, but you get your money's worth in chocolates. We ate a lot of chocolate. So my next project is out of my Harry Potter Crochet Wizardry book, and I am making, when I can find what I'm working on, what have I done with? I am working on the Hermione. So I've already made the hat from the Godric's Hollow. I've made a couple of these hats, and Catherine really wanted the mitts. Let's turn this so you can't see the pattern. So I'm making the mitts. And they're working up quite quickly. There's the end. I'm using this gorgeous Hayfield Spirit yarn, and I can't remember the colourway because the ball band has disappeared, but I don't know if these ones actually had colourways on them anyway, but it's gorgeous with the blues, the purples, the greys and the whites that sort of flow into themselves. So I'm almost at the top of the first mitt, and then I'll just have the thumb to put in, and then it will be a case of just moving on to the second mitt, which shouldn't take too long. This is an afternoon's work. Let me just pop it on. It's a little bit small for me. So it fits Catherine perfectly though, so that's how it goes. So I just need to make it longer, just to about mid finger I think. So I don't have a whole bunch of rows to do, and this is done in is it moss stitch, the one where you go, you single crochet, chain one, single crochet, but yeah, so that's, and I just look at how lovely well those colours combine. I'm not going to try and make them matchy because Catherine is not a matchy person, thankfully. She's not going to be bothered that they don't match. Grandma might be, but they're not Grandma's mitts. Right, that's that project. How am I doing for time? Ooh, gosh. Right, I need to be quick. So, ooh, that's my current whip. So, I'll show you what I'm working on at the moment. Why has Emily done that? Just found one of my hair clips clipped on a ball of wool. Right, okay, so this is a project I am doing out of the Dutch Masters Yarn Bookazine, and it is a crocheted sleeved scarf. Now, in the book there are two versions. There is a knitted version, which I will be making at some point because I love that, and a crocheted version. So I'm using DK yarn. It says here that the yarn they used for this is mohair and alpaca rhythm combined. Well, I don't do mohair or alpaca, both make my skin twitch, so I won't. I am using good old acrylic for this one, Aldi acrylic in fact, in burnt orange. So these come in a bag of 4, it's about £5 I think I pay when they have it. I don't buy it as often as I did because I have had to promise to work through my stash first. My stitch markers all over there. So right, I'm just going to put that loop through my thumb so I don't lose it. I'm hoping this will fit me, but I have tried it on. So I've got to the stage where I'm decreasing now before I go back onto the sleeve. So you sort of wear it, and I need to do a little bit of investigation into how I go about wearing it. I just saw it, I loved it. So there must be some way of wearing it where this isn't hanging loose. It's shown in the book a couple of ways, and both ways are wrapped around the body, so I might need to give it a really good stretch or rip back the decreases and add some length because I'm a little bit larger than I think I need to be for wearing this. I've just got a bit of ends. I'm on my third 100-gram ball, so it is a bit of a yarn eater. This very, very simple. It was just straight treble crochets or double crochets, depending on your terminology. Oh, it looks like I hope that doesn't mean I've gained stitches there. It looks a bit wider there than the rest of it. Oh dear, hopefully I haven't added stitches onto that, but yes, so I'm almost done. So I've just got the decreases to do to bring me back down to the sleeve numbers, and then to join back in the round to do the sleeve, which is just front post back post stitches. So that should not take too long. I've got this on my progress till Tuesday, Wednesday time, so that's going to be me working on that. Oh, there's my bag then. This is all the yarn I've got left over from my faith blanket. So yes, it's quite a lot there. Okay, so another project that I've been working on. This is another knit project, and this is my 10 stitch blanket. This has been something that helped my sanity while I was on holiday with my mother-in-law. I have your traditional relationship with my mother-in-law. This is with the Hayfield Spirit. I do have yarn bands for this. Let's see if it has a colour. No, it doesn't have a colour. This is just shade 0408. So it's a wool acrylic mix, and it's a beautiful yarn to work with. I've got a bit in there, just I've dropped a stitch when I was doing that corner, and I need to work out how to secure it. So I've back up to my 10 stitches and managed to pick that up. So there it is. This is a free pattern. You just need to search for a 10 stitch blanket, and there are different variations. There's a variation which looks really cool, and it's just going round and round in a circle, but this is pretty mindless knitting once you get into routine. A routine with it. So it is just, you're just picking up knitting. The most attention you need to pay is when you're doing the short row turns for the corner, which I was a little bit naughty on those corners. I did not do the wrap and turn, and I need to go back to doing the wrap and turn because that was not pretty. I don't like ripping back where I can get away with it. I do have to remember that my other DPN is upstairs. I'm going to Hobbycraft this afternoon. I might see if I can just find a really short pair of 4.5mm needles to work on that with, because the needles have a habit of just sliding out of the stitches. Oh no, I've caught the yarn in my zip. Right. Okay, I'm going good, I'm going good. Right, hey, this is my last whip. Oh gosh. This is what stops me rambling, doesn't it? I just need to have time pressure. So living in my rather large and lovely Aldi knitting bucket bag is my Winter Wonderland blanket. I'm getting so close to finishing this. I'm really enjoying this. It's mosaic crochet for me has become a bit of a revelation. I'm just absolutely loved working on this blanket, and there are others out there that I do plan on working on. So here it is so far. So I think last time I showed, oh there it is, I was here last time we showed it. So I've done pretty much all of this grey and red bit and a few bits of the next section, which is the snowmen. I am so close to finishing. I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through this blanket now. So very happy with how it's working. I'm loving the yarn. I'm using Paintbox DK, which is a Lovecraft's exclusive yarn, and it's 100% acrylic, but it's one of the nicer acrylics I've worked with, I have to say. I wouldn't be averse to using it again should the need arise. Let's just, and Lovecrafts quite often have them on sale, so definitely when I need to buy yarn again, which I'm trying not to do, she says. I'm trying not to buy yarn, even though I do need to go and buy some yarn today from Hobbycraft for my mystery crochet along, because I've had the pattern through and the colours, so that's that. Right, so I'm nearly done. So I'm just really conscious of the time. Catherine will be very upset if we're late picking her up, and she'll be even more upset if we're late picking her up because I've spent too long rambling on my podcast. So incoming. So let's start with my subscription yarn. Let's do that first. Let's get this out of the bag. Oh, rustles. Very sorry about the rustling. Okay, so we have got, so from the Vintage Whimsy, we've got Unicorn, and Catherine was oohing and ahhing over this one. It is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Actually, I need a yarn that's kind of grey, kind of pink for the next mystery for my next part of my mystery knit along. That could be a contender. Simon will be impressed. I'm using my subscription yarn. And very kindly, it appears that I forgot to order the Tale of Jemima Puddle Duck from the Beatrix Potter. So Andy very kindly included it in my package. So thank you, Andy. I know I've already messaged you to say thank you, but here it is. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. I do love the colours of these yarns. So we had some minis, so I can't remember which one came with which. These two minis. We got a packet. This one came with the. So we've got a wax melt. So I need to get myself something that I can melt this in. It's gorgeous. It's lavender. Love lavender. There's always a lavender pouch. I don't know where that's gone. I think quite possibly it's been stolen. I do have a tendency to lose my lavender pouches to my kids. And then this really pretty stitch marker. Again, Catherine's got her eye on this one. Not that she's been knitting again. She keeps changing her mind about what she wants to do, and then she'll start something, work on it for a few minutes, for a day or two, and then forget about it. And they come in these beautiful story cards. And this one is always be yourself. Unless you can be a unicorn, then always be a unicorn. And then Jemima Puddle Duck. This is Jemima, yep. So we've got another coaster. I've got a scroll napkin coaster somewhere. They didn't steal the Jemima Puddle Duck sachet. Oh, I love that. I love that smell so much. And on the story card, a really cute little duck. So beautiful. Right, so that's that. And then this week I got my Tom Thumb. No, not Tom Thumb. Tom Kitten. Why did I say Tom Thumb? This is Tom Kitten, which is absolutely beautiful. Oh, look at that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And there's Tom Kitten having his face washed. There's the mini that I got with it. I need to start bagging these minis back up. And I've got this lovely little stitch, not stitch marker, bookmark. And then on the story card here, I got, let's turn him around, a little kitty cat. So that's on my subscription yarn. Part of my present to myself when I got my work bonus at work, so we get an annual bonus. It's not huge, but it allows a few treats. So I bought this. I've been seeing this around quite a lot and have had big FOMO. And I'm glad I got it. There's some amazing patterns in here. And the best thing is that the patterns are set for men, women and children, so that you can make for the whole family out of this book. And I just, oh, just look, his and hers jumpers. I would wear both of those. And then, and it's just absolutely beautiful. There's some very basic knits in here, very colourful, or at least things you could make colourful if you wanted to. So it wasn't cheap. I think I did get it for less than the RRP because I bought it from Amazon. So it's £20 on normal price. I think I paid about 13 on Amazon. So this is a lovely book, definitely worthwhile. Nearly ready. Nearly time to go and get Catherine. Okay, and living in this very lovely M&S bag that was provided by the shopkeeper is my holiday purchase. Now I always try and buy yarn while I'm on holiday as a souvenir. And in my research of the places we were visiting, I came across a shop in Whitby called Propagandzi. Now, Propagandzi was a shock to the system when I got that, because it was very tiny. It was a small part of what was like a health food, whole food type shop. I expected was a proper full shop. So it was much smaller than I expected, but oh my goodness, the lady that was running it knew her business. Now, obviously Propagandzi, so she had lots of ganzis on display. So a ganzi, if you're not familiar with the term, is the name for a traditional fishing jumper, and each fishing jumper around the UK would have each fishing port would have its own pattern, for example, and if they came across a fisherman, they would know where that fisherman came from, because that's his port. So I bought this book. There were two books, and she said that she preferred this one, though the other one was more popular. So I went for the one that she said she preferred, and because there are more patterns in here, it's a harder one to follow. There's these, it's all black and white, so I don't know how this is going to show up, but that's the Scarborough Ganzi. And there's some lovely bits of information about the port, and like just the sort of things that you'd have. So there's quite a few different things, and going through, I'm going to be making a staves pattern, which is very famous. There was a very famous photograph, and I can't remember whereabouts it is in this book. Anyway, I need to think. But yes, so there's the book. I bought the book. I bought yarn. There's the yarn. So the lady said 2 cones of this would make 1 ganzi. Not cheap at all. I think these were £38 each. So each cone you get 500 grams. So I've got a kilo here of 100% wool. So it's not a bad price if you think about it. There's 1,200 yards, so 1,098 metres on 1 cone. This one's already been started because I've done my swatch, because there's no proper pattern. So this doesn't tell you start to finish how to knit the ganzi, because you have, it all goes on your tension, on your thing. So with the 2 cones, I got the basic guide to make your ganzi. So everything that I need to know about how to make this Gansey is going to be in here. Now traditionally they're knitting around on some very devilish DPN, so I bought the full set because why not? These are traditional Gansey needles. They are 2.25mm, 40cm long DPNs. And the tip on these, now I know I have on this podcast before complained about not having a sharp enough tip, but oh my goodness, these would go straight through your finger if given half the chance. They are really sharp. I'm going to give it a go. There are, obviously I can convert to circulars if I need to, but failing that, they also have knitting on 2 needles guide as well. Then there's a size chart, so basically now I know my my tension, my stitch gauge. I will be measuring Simon up and working out how many stitches to cast on. So this isn't going to be a work in progress just yet. I do want to get a couple more knitted projects off the needles first before I jump into the Gansey, because I don't want it to be one of those patterns that I don't pick up for ages because I've got so many of the whips on and it just takes a long time to come through. So I'm looking forward to starting a Gansey though, a traditional Gansey knit in a traditional way. We'll see how that goes, because I do sit in this corner of the sofa when I'm knitting and crocheting, and obviously Simon won't like it if I start to put holes in the sofa. Right, okay, so it is, I need to be getting my shoes on now to go and get Catherine. So I am going to leave this here. I will see you again, hopefully in a couple of weeks. Fingers crossed that, obviously, with all the bank holidays and everything that's coming through, I don't know what plans we have. So I will see you all again soon. I do apologise for the long wait, but hopefully next time I won't be in a rush and we'll be able to have a proper catch up. So I better hope that Simon doesn't mind me leaving this mess here while I go and get my shoes on and go get Catherine. Okay, bye bye.